shut up, you listen to my monkey mouth. There's a companion when you got pun on the canoa route. Hopped in a portal and got in a fight, Elias knocked him out. Bow, Naruto fighting style. Bow, UFC he tapped out. Bow, we win, we get crowned. Monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth.
Them Portal Boys be podcasting. This is Joshua.
And this is Elias.
And on this episode, we're going to be covering Season 2, Episode 9 of Rick and Morty, entitled Look Who's Purging Now.
Man, I think I immediately said it out loud. This is a great episode. And you were just like right there with me.
Yeah, I mean, before we do these episodes, we always sit down and watch it together and take some quick notes on it. And I mean, I wish that we could catch that because some of our funnest bullshit comes up whenever we're talking about it right then. But you know, we took some notes on it, and it's a really fun episode, dude. Like it's easy to cover on a podcast because it's not doing a bunch of jumping around. There's only like a little bit of talking with Jerry and Summer, which is fucking just a pathetic piece of dialogue, man. It's ridiculous, man. Jerry's such a piece of shit.
And its simplicity of making him seem even scummier. You know?
Yeah, Jerry. He's got some endearing qualities, but man, you can definitely not like that motherfucker.
Oh yeah.
But it starts with Rick and Morty in the ship, right?
Yeah,
kind of like one of the traditional setups for an episode.
And Morty definitely remarks on how it's kind of good to get back into the old swing of things, you know.
Yeah.
And so like he's definitely excited. They seem to be like, I mean, we had like mini Rick. We had a bunch of like little like more larger base stories that seemed to encompass more than just Rick and Morty. So it was kind of like...
Yeah, a lot of different players gotten involved.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you had even side people kind of getting in there. Getting.
I mean, Mr. Poopy Butthole.
Yeah, so...
I mean, they got all the way down to Mr. Poopy Butthole.
Mm-hmm.
You know, come on.
And so to see them two in a ship just kind of rehashing the good old days was just... it was basically a good feeling for both of them.
It was refreshing for Morty and for us.
Yeah.
And so the thing that basically tees up everything in the episode is a space bug hits the windshield.
Yeah, and basically they're like, Morty's like, what the hell? Like, there's bugs out in space? And like, of course, Rick is like, yes, do you think just like, you know, we just like basically came from nothing? Like,
so what do you think? Life just developed on Earth alone?
Yeah, alone, yeah, exactly. So it's the best.
Yeah, I love how Rick hit you with the humility stick real hard.
He does. He makes a great effort to make you understand that, you know, we're just primordial ooze is what we are. Just come together in a monkey formation from goop.
I think it was whenever he was talking about Jerry, you could be just a pile of atoms stacked together or something. Like he was basically saying that you're just like a pile of random fucking molecules held together by energy type shit. Just like nothing. You're nothing, bro.
Yeah.
But they ultimately land on a purge planet full of cat people
and then,
for wiper fluid.
If it's gonna be anything, it's definitely gonna be cats.
Oh man, I just got the notification on my phone that TKC number 36 was published. That's always fun.
Feeling good
It's always cool whenever you like get an organic notification about something that pops up. It's like neat.
It definitely works that it's cats and to get back on the organic feeling of it. It's definitely like that always happens to me like right when I'm in the middle of something like tedious, and then I'll be like, oh, you know, you get that little dopamine rush of like that was happening a lot whenever I was tracking that 100 views.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was a dopamine dependent day right there. Yeah. We're not getting near as many views on Portal Boys.
Yeah, but
even if they doesn't matter. We're enjoying ourselves. We're sharpening our sword right now.
I love every bit of it, man. Like I said, it just makes sense that it was cats.
I think if we get caught up to the point where we're like publishing them as they're coming out, and we're like posting about it in groups and stuff, and like being real try hard about it, probably get some like pretty good little traction. Probably never enough to like make any money or sell any good merch or anything, but like we could get some other incels out there listening, probably.
Just sad boys fapping to you. Is that what you want? Is that what you want?
I'm not saying that's what I want. I'm saying that's what's most probable to come of this podcast.
It's like, he's got a sexy voice. That big butt.
Let me find out there's just like legions of fucking dime pieces who are huge Rick and Morty fans who are just gonna fawn over my voice. That'd be perfect.
That'd be perfect. I mean, it could be worse.
I just imagine like sweaty dudes with like pimples and neck beards and like 3-decade-old glasses. Well, actually, like those are the dudes who I feel like are gonna be like, oh my god, the Portal Boys podcast.
We have our incelly niche. Just like. We do like our own little like meet and greet, and it's just a bunch of like,
the Neckbeard Brigade.
Neckbeard Brigade. It's like we're literally just we're gonna sell towels with like Portal Boy logos on it. This is to keep the grease away.
It's free to fap into, you nasty piece of shit.
Oh my god! What is the mountain? Why does it have to? What is it like mountain? What is it? It was what place was it? What's a mountainy area that's like real touristy here?
The Rocky Mountains?
Is that what it is? He's like,
I don't know.
I can't remember.
What the fuck are you even talking about right now, my dude?
Morty jerking off into the monument, like the Rocky Mountain T-shirt that they got on a family trip.
Oh my god! He's like, you just gotta ball it up and shove it into the trash. It's like a Yellowstone shirt.
Yellowstone, that's what it is.
Is that what it was? Is Yellowstone?
I think it's Yellowstone, and he's like, he goes, but why that specific shirt? Is it the logo? Is it something to do with that particular time and place? It's a lot of things. It's like, what another great like snippet of an amazing episode. So
yeah.
They're landing on the planet. It's just a shit ton of cat people, and the mayor.
And it's like Amish times.
Yeah, and
they're like farmers.
Yeah,
like there are no cars.
Yeah, it's just like.
You know what I'm saying? But there are houses. Like it's like
random hay bales everywhere.
It's like 1800s-y. Yeah, if that makes sense. It's
exactly.
Like 1800s-y.
Just random hay bales everywhere, and just like cobblestone stuff, like houses. It's just very, very Amishy rural kind of vibes to it.
I mean, Rick even refers to Arthricia at one point as that Amish bitch.
But there is like a General store because they land, and he's like, hey, we just need some cleaner fluid. Do you know where I can get that?
Like, also, you're not going to freak out that we're here, are you?
You're not worship us now, are you?
Yeah. It's like, no. The general store ought to have what you need.
Yeah. So.
Which they also kind of speak with like a southern twang.
Yeah, it's just like...
All of them are like country boys. Like, oh yeah, the general store I have exactly what you need.
There's a great episode of South Park where they go to like 1893. Have you ever seen that episode? Where the literal...
Of what?
South Park. They go to 1893. It's literally
I don't think so.
It's literally a time capsule kind of educational place for kids to go, and they're stuck in 1893, and to the point where like people who are supposed to be these sophisticated robbers, but all they basically knock over is a Burger King, take over the little spot, and they're trying to figure out how to get out, and they have to. Stan or one of them has to talk country or talk this General store kind of way to just get information out of them because they will not break.
That's great.
Oh, 1893.
I see now. They didn't literally travel back in time. They went to like a Renaissance fair
exactly,
type of
but
thing.
they won't break.
I know exactly. Yeah, they're not allowed to break character. Yeah, I know exactly what episode you're talking about now. And like while they're like actively getting robbed.
Yeah. By
like a sophisticated group of fucking burglars type shit.
Yes, it's amazing.
But back to the episode, they get the fluid, and Rick like takes his time, letting
he locks him out. He locks Morty out.
Yeah. By the way, so there's something that's going to come up later. Is the guy at the general store gives them the fluid, and he gives them some candy bars.
Yeah.
And later, those candy bars are what Rick goes. Those candy bars had purginol in them, so like your character is preserved. Basically, you are being chemically induced to purge because of the existence of purginol in those candy bars. But then it shows us that it was purginol free.
Yeah, purginol now.
And
so free.
Yeah, Rick was.
And he definitely quite like he's got your way of ethics or the way of thinking. Like if you don't trust the squeaky clean guy, right? And you got to have a little bit of a little stain on that old ticker of yours. You can't.
Oh yeah, I'm real big on we're all rascals, and if you're denying yourself your inherent rascality, like you're a problem.
Yeah, and so he's definitely trying his damnedest to not be a part of anything that's the purge, and it's literally making him ill. you know, he's like sick. He's like, he doesn't know what to do. He's just like frustrated. And here comes like Rick with like, dude, you never clicked on a link that like shows a beheading or, you know, had morbid curiosity about things. And he's like, no, have you? And he was like, no, man, I've seen shit. Like, that stuff just doesn't interest me
I
anymore.
eat shit like that for breakfast.
Yeah,
like, that's
whatever,
nothing,
yeah.
bro.
That's
A beheading video is nothing for me.
But he's like literally doesn't consider people who are what is it, bureaucrats people. Like,
yeah, they're robots. I don't respect them.
Yeah, so he has definitely his dark sensibility just kind of staining poor Morty in this episode.
Yeah, it's all, and he drags it out of him too.
Oh yeah,
it gets crazy.
And so they hover up about, you know, maybe 100, 200 feet.
Good viewing distance.
Good viewing distance, and they're like, he's like, come on, like let's just stick around for 2 seconds and, you know, get a good, you know, couple of views in about the. I'll see what this whole purging's all about. Even though like he goes to the thing and he's like immediately knows what's going on. He's like, it's a purge planet.
Oh, he just wants to watch it. He just wants
like,
to see the gore.
Yeah, and he's been to a couple. He's even said like he's had one they call like the cleansing
Red Night,
and then the other one just called Murder Day or something.
Yeah,
yeah, and he's like, this is kind of like quiet, slow, like third wall breaking of like, you know, they can't all be, you know, they can't all be like like rooted in, you know, shady elites. Like one's just like Kill Night. Like let's just call it Kill Night. You know, I just want to.
Yeah, there ain't got to be some big backstory behind it at all.
So, like they get a good viewing distance, and then you just hear in the darkness a feminine scream, right?
Yeah, well, so they get closer once he gets up in the air and he convinces them to watch. He gets closer, and literally, like it gets so close that like the blood and shit splatters up on the windshield, and that's whenever Rick's like, "Man, I had enough."
Yeah,
he like vomits out the side of the car. And as he's vomiting out of the side of the car is whenever we hear Arthricia screaming for help. And that's whenever Morty's like, hey, we got to go down there. Like, we got to go help.
You got to go down there. I'm going to tell my mom.
Yeah, I'm going to tell my mom that you brought me here. Yeah. Is the literal threat. The blackmail, how he blackmails him.
And I'm going to tell mommy. Like, you don't get it, bro. Like, I'm like, you're a literal god, but you still have to deal with Beth. Like,
well, it's like your daughter's going to be mad at you. What are you going to do when your daughter's mad at you? You got to deal with it.
Yeah, so and it's merely just an annoyance. It's a frustration. He could probably like rationalize it to Beth, but the fact that he has to even rationalize things.
Everything's a matter of how much effort it's going to take versus how much it's going to be worth it. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's more effort than it's worth.
Yeah, exactly that. Like I have Morty now. He's taking himself away. And I can just drop it. Yeah.
So they land to help Arthricia, and Rick is just blasting everybody and having a blast with it because he's got a hall pass.
Yeah. He's like, you should get in on this.
We're totally in the clear to kill all these people.
You should get in on this. Morty.
Say that to Morty, who's like not packing a gun at all. Like Morty's just like a 13-year-old with like his bare hands. Like, get in on this. Fight some of these guys who are like terrifying.
And the best thing about it is that you literally see, you know, just what makes 13-year-old boys tick. It's just the opportunity to like just be around.
He literally heard the mating call.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I was like, oh, it's his dick started going off. That's all it took.
It's literally a compass to him, you know, trying to essentially, you know, white knight for this person who he doesn't even know, and it shows. You know, he's got an affinity for cats, I guess, because he was all about this alien cat girl, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there's no question, like, he was attracted to old girl.
Yeah.
Morty asks to bring her up on the ship, and Rick obliges after all that he's done after all you've done to blackmail me.
After all you've done to blackmail me, how can I say no to that? You know, it's so great.
And Morty keeps asking, like, the worst questions. His game is absolutely miserable, and they're all purge-related questions, too.
Like, what was it like? Was it like, whoa, we're all purging? Whoa, this is crazy. Or did they just, like, get into it?
No, it took some people some time to get used to.
There's this great meme where it's just like my style of game is hey, how are you doing? And if I don't get a response from that, I'm like, Oh shit! Like, all right, I gave it my all. Like,
I shot my whole shot.
Shot my whole shot. Hey, how are you doing?
I saw a thing that was like Midwestern dirty talk, and it was like, "I see you next Tuesday."
That's so great. That's so great, man.
Well, so it actually shows us what's going on back at home, and Jerry's trying to make small talk with Summer, and Summer's just giving him the hardest time about it.
Yeah, but I love that you're holding me.
You're holding me verbally hostage.
Yeah, and so he walks into the room and does what and not just father, but every person who just doesn't have much to say. Like, what are you doing? Watching TV? What are you doing? Reading a book? You know, it's just like, what are you, like, literal, what is your response supposed to be to that? Yes, I am. Or no, I'm not. Or,
it's either I give you sarcasm or I bark yes like a trained dog.
And there's literally there's nowhere to go from these close-ended questions, you know?
Well, it's up to the person who's posing them. Like,
yeah, exactly. And so he's getting nothing in return. There's zero give back from this, and she says, we'll reiterate it, that she's holding him verbally hostage, and his whole thing is to kind of like gaslight her into being like, whoa, are you gonna be, is this how you treat your father? Like, what's going on here? And she's like, I literally don't want to participate in this.
It's like, bro, you're creating drama because you're bored. Get a job.
Get a job. It's just so great, man. I can relate, man. I've been out of a job. I don't think I started drama, but I've definitely was.
Bro, you were just walking around the house like, so, that laundry didn't get folded.
I would love it. That would literally be like a legit reason to like hold me down and like literally like stomp the biggest mud hole in my
You don't do laundry?
No, I'm just saying if I was jobless and I found the other person there just kind of like saying it didn't get folded, like me being passively aggressive and unemployed, that I would get like the biggest mud hole stomped in me.
Yeah, as you deserve.
Yeah.
Bro, if you're unemployed and won't even fold laundry, what the fuck are you doing?
It's like, you just deserve the biggest mud hole.
Like, bro, go make your bed. How about that?
Let's start small. Like, why don't you just like, first off, let me verbally go from this hostage situation you have me in, and go make your bed. Go clean your room, bucko.
I can just imagine you walking around the house, just like kind of kicking cans, trying to figure out. Just. But either way, Arthricia suddenly remembers that she has a nana who needs saving, and Rick obliges her.
Oh, and I love that he literally feels like every fiber of his being is like just what. I put myself in this situation from, basically allowing Morty to, now physically, like, not emotionally blackmail him, but just actually blackmail him. Not verbally blackmail him.
I feel like Rick knows what's up. He just, like, lets himself get into shit.
Exactly.
Like, he's just bored enough to be like,
all right, let's see where I know she's lying, but I want to, let's
see where it goes. Exactly.
I forgot what it was basically a podcast, and the co-host is giving him nothing, and he's like, well, if you can't yes and, then I'm done with this. They're like, we can't, if you're not gonna play along with this and you're not willing to yes and me, let's stop it here. And it's like,
well, this happened live on someone else's podcast.
Yeah, but of course the banter's like 90%, like, how would you say it? 90%, playing it up, 10% like real, like 10% like you're not yes-ending me and I'm getting a little frustrated, but the other 90% is like I'm gonna yell out. And
I got you. I don't know these characters, so that's funny. I can see how that's funny.
Yeah, it's the best. So he definitely is someone who is willing to yes and every situation. Like, we're in the situation. How can I move it forward? How can I proceed to getting me maybe out of this?
I mean, he took 3 years of improv workshops.
That is true. Yeah.
Which couldn't fit in the bug brain, so he had to leave it in the brainalyzer.
Yeah. So it was also that and his fear of tubas, right? Or his fear of clarinets.
Something like that, and his want to buy a hat.
Yeah, his want to buy a hat.
Yeah. So Arthricia shoots Rick.
And the heart is working.
She shot me in the liver. It's the hardest working liver in the galaxy. Well, that's great.
I love that he. I love that he. You know, he probably has some sort of microorganism constantly keeping his liver from just being a black. You know.
He's definitely, whenever they scanned him at the airport and they saw his upgrades, one of his upgrades is definitely his liver.
I'm sure it has.
It's gotta
be.
be.
Right?
Gotta be. There's no way, especially now.
The liver's pretty cool, right? It can regenerate. It can heal itself, and it can.
I don't know shit.
The liver's like a really neat organ. It's one of those. I think like if it gets pierced or cut, or you can actually cut a piece of someone else's liver, and if it all matches blood and everything and tissue, you can actually take a piece of liver out of someone else and put it in their liver, and it can basically heal itself. It's really neat. It's one of the things that can do that. It's really cool.
Bro, that's some sci-fi shit.
The human body is amazing.
Motherfucking what? You could take half a liver from one person and smash it into the other half of someone else's liver and it merge into a whole liver?
I'm thinking it can. And it can also heal itself.
Bro, that's some symbiote shit, bro. That's some, like, Hollywood fucking horror movie shit, bro.
Some Tusk shit going on there.
That's crazy, bro. That's like... I don't even know what to make of that, bro. I don't know if I'm entirely comfortable with my liver anymore, bro. I might want that motherfucker out of me, bro. Can I sell my liver on the black market?
Oh yeah, I wanted it gone.
I can't live without a liver, can I?
No,
it's like it's a necessity.
I think that's like one of those things. If you try and live without a liver, let's say.
I would just have to be on like constant dialysis, right? I'd have to have a machine just doing it for me.
Yeah, just like filtering your blood and stuff. It wouldn't be.
It ain't like a kidney. Well, what if I could donate half my liver? It sounds like it's going to grow back on its own, and it sounds like someone could use that motherfucking half. So here's my question.
That just sounds painful.
Here's my question: is if someone pulled their liver out entirely and then shoved my half a liver in there, would it grow into a whole liver?
I don't think so.
You think that's where the line is, huh? That's where livers are like, just nah. I need to be
tapping out.
I need to be fucking mashed into another liver before I'll fully regenerate. I can't just do it here.
He's just like,
why wouldn't that work?
I don't think it would work.
I don't think none of this shit'll work. None of this shit sounds intuitively correct, motherfucker. Like it'll be like that's my intuitive sense feels like no.
I don't know if that would work. I'm not. I also haven't spent like a third of my life in med school.
Well, where did you learn the first bit?
Just random bullshit that you pick up from knowing things that are stupid and unnecessary for your job or anything that you do in real life.
So what you mean is you're full of shit.
No, I'm not full of shit. It's the truth. Yeah, that can regenerate.
We need a Jamie. That's what we need to. We need to start bringing Greg in so that he can be our Jamie.
Oh, that's so perfect. And then he doesn't have to be on camera. He can just.
Yeah, he can fucking nerd it out. Damn it, man.
I think we found a perfect opportunity.
Maybe.
Well, this is literally what this podcast is for. It's literally
Aren't we supposed to be talking about Rick and Morty?
A nail popped up. Yeah, who cares? We're supposed to. A nail popped up and two hammers just trying to hit it first. Hardest working liver in the galaxy.
We should do the thing that we're doing here now. It's a freaking Portal Boys. Portal Boys be podcasting. Season 2, Episode 9. Look who's purging now. Hardest working liver in the galaxy.
Hardest working liver in the galaxy.
She took the ship.
She
has my gun. The portal gun is in the ship. We're like the rest of these assholes now. We're about to get purged. That's where we're at.
Yeah. You got there.
All right.
It was definitely a trip.
I was too high for this, man. I hit fucking dabs, bro.
No. You hit multiple dabs. Like you did dabs times 3, man.
That's how many you saw.
That is true.
That's just how many you saw.
Oh my goodness. So Artrissa, how do we say your name?
So think arthritis.
Arthritis.
Arthritia.
So Arthritia is basically left them to fend for themselves, and Morty, being the sex-deprived 13-year-old horned-up teenager, was like you can't do this to us. Still trying to somehow get on her better side or meet some kind of humanity in her, and she's like, I've got more important things to deal with.
I like how she really can't fly the ship very well, and she just bounces it off several things, and then just like goes straight through a windmill off screen, and that's that.
But she manages. She's I think she's still technically like crashes it into something, or it's off to the side of a particular house when they run into it again, right?
My thing also is it's 1800s time.
Yeah.
Why do they have windshield wiper fluid?
And did you just find a plot hole in this? I mean, maybe the elites do. I didn't notice. I didn't really pay attention.
Like there's just like one rich guy who pulls through town over here and there, pays a premium price for windshield wiper fluid.
Probably, yeah. I mean, there are super elites in this that keep them purging each other. So maybe they have the only car and they roll through like you said.
And it doesn't matter if we find plot holes. If the moment that you start trying to apply logic to this fucking cartoon, it breaks way down.
And so logic is unnecessary.
No, it's about feeling and having fun at this point.
So we get to a point where they're basically on the run, right?
So in the house, right? Like Morty, after getting the ship stolen, runs into the house. The house is on fire. Rick's got a hole in his liver, and there are now purgers running towards them.
Yes.
And Rick stands up and throws a thing and turns one of them into just fucking nano dust.
Yeah.
And he's like, all y'all stay back, drop your shit, or I'll do it to you. And it's just like a fucking thing of Tic Tacs. Yeah. And if you listen, you can hear, they did you can hear it rattling. Like, it's so funny. They did really good with that. And he's like, dude, this is a box of Tic Tacs. Go get their shit. And
so he's basically now got some sort of weaponry to fend off the people as Rick fixes his liver and also is trying to get in contact with Summer.
Which brings us back home with Summer and Jerry where they're bickering, right? And then suddenly the space phone starts ringing in the couch.
I think he comes in and he does that. He's like, are you going to be nice for crackers?
Well, it's like, I've got crackers. And she's like, mm-hmm. He's like, you're going to be nice now? And she's like, in exchange for crackers? The fuck?
And then he's like, is it just a time and place or just teenagers where you start acting mean to your father or something?
Yeah, is it just part of growing up? Is it just part of being a teenager to hate your father? She's like, I think this is actually where she's like, oh my God, you're creating drama because you're bored. Get a job.
Yeah. And so now there's like...
Well, as the phone's ringing, Summer's like, the fuck? This is like the space phone that Grandpa left us. Wonder who it is. And Jerry's like, is it Taddy Mason? And Summer doesn't even really acknowledge that, and they start talking on the phone, and Summer is having trouble hearing Rick, so she puts him on speakerphone, and Rick tries to say something, and Jerry goes, Taddy? Is this Taddy Mason? And Rick goes, yes, Jerry, this is Taddy Mason, a character none of us have ever heard of, calling you on a space phone.
And he's like, I don't know if you're being sarcastic or not.
Which is funny because it's interdimensional cable. Where else would he call you on? It's a space phone. Exactly. So like Morty's Jerry is just dumb enough to be like, I don't know.
And just dumb enough to. Oh well, we won't get to that. I mean, we can't. Who cares, right? I mean, Taddy Mason is.
Don't ruin the podcast by leaping around. We'll fight. No, I'm kidding, bro. Talk about whatever you want.
Well, no, it's just so funny. We find out that Taddy Mason's is like a friend hotline instead of like a pervy sex hotline.
It's like phone sex for people who need friendship.
Yeah.
$1.99 a minute. Why is our phone bill $7,000?
It's someone who would definitely never call you back. Like Taddy Mason is literally a person on the other end, a blob of cells on another end in an interdimensional
call
center. Basically making you not, drop the toaster in the water while you're sucking on oranges.
So, effectively, throughout all this, I mean, Morty winds up shitting on Jerry. Everyone shits on Jerry.
Yeah.
He
basically tells them, like, to shut the hell up, like, nobody knows.
Like, oh my God, shut the fuck up, type shit.
Yeah, just like, we're in so much deep shit, and you just existing is making everything 100 times worse.
Bro, you gotta stop, man. You gotta chill.
But it's like we gotta gargoyle his ass just to the off screen.
Yes, thrown off screen left and forgotten about. But Rick winds up telling Summer to go to the garage, get a box, type in a bunch of numbers into it, and hit send type shit.
More power on her that, like, it takes me 3 times to write down a phone number. So I'm like, one more time. You know, homegirl's been through it with this man so much. She's able to just know instinctively. I don't get a second chance of asking.
Summer is Mrs. Reliable whenever it comes to it. She's too reliable to a fault. Like, ruined everything with Mr. Nimbus because she was able to actually go get that magical shell.
She follows through. And to the point where she's too reliable in the sense that, like, well, Rick will never bring a girl along because he doesn't want to. Because they're, you know.
Well, compromises missions.
Exactly.
You should be ashamed of who you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's out of Rick's mouth. Be ashamed of who you are. But so she hits send and it shoots out of the fucking garage. She's like, "Oh, I was supposed to take that outside."
But it's also while she's being like verbally
continually bugged by Jerry.
And he's like, he's. I think this is actually the part where he's like, is it teenagers that just hate, like, basically just poking her, just continuously poking her until finally she's like, it caused her to basically, you know, put a hole in the roof and have him standing there. And she strictly cuts straight to the. She starts
playing right along. She's like, "Oh yeah, you would push me so high," and just like literally, like, she knows what type of responses that Jerry wants, and so she gives them to him. And like within 3 responses, they're to the actual point. Yeah. And the actual point is that homie needs money.
And is it the amount to cover the Tatty Mason loss?
I don't think it's. I don't know if that's the case. She ain't got $7,000 laying around. She ain't making that much money as a summer kid.
He asked for a specific.
No. He said that he just needs a little bit of cash to make it till the next thing comes in. He can feel it. There's something coming type shit. So he's just asking for like.
He's asking a bookie for that.
He's just asking for survival cash at this point. And he's like, "Well, this is what rock bottom feels like."
And then just a single shingle just falls down and literally hits him on the head to let him know that, like, you've been at rock bottom, buddy. Like,
I think it's like a running joke that every time that he thinks he's at rock bottom, something just, like, hits him and makes it a little bit worse.
The dog wanting his check. So
Man.
This gives you no sustenance.
All I can ever think of whenever they're doing these Jerry needing money bits is, have you seen How High?
Oh, yeah, man. It's so great.
I met him and he said, "I need money." And I said, "Shit, me too." And it's like Jerry is I need money of the Rick and Morty verse.
That's the best, man.
But Rick and Morty wind up fighting through.
Yeah, through what is essentially a mob of, like.
Yeah, I mean Rick like fashions a shotgun.
Yeah.
And, like, kills several people and, like, gets in a situation where he's like, "I don't want to be the little help guy, but I could use a little help."
Yeah.
And Morty throws him a fucking spoon.
There's a table filled with silverware, and you throw me the one thing that can't kill anybody. But he still manages to kill somebody, which brings me back to, like, I think American Dad, where Roger's, like, becoming, I think, a police guard or something. He wants to become a cop, and he handcuffs like Stan's wife, and he's like, "There's nothing on you that can kill me. Go ahead and try." And bitch takes her shoe off and shoves it down his throat, and he's like, "Way to go!" Like, not even mad, just like, "Yeah, like, here I am talking cash money shit, and you shove a shoe down my throat." Like,
well, it's like, do you have anything that can harm me? Like, buddy, I'm a gorilla. Like, I can harm you.
Did you hear about that guy? Had to register his hands as a weapon, and he killed somebody, and then he had to go to jail for life.
That sounds made up as shit.
That's the whole theme for Con Air.
That's fucking definitely made up then.
Yeah, remember, like, Nicolas Cage?
I don't think I've ever seen Con Air.
Oh! I have to change that, man. There's like a whole podcast idea that me and my friend are working on, watching just movies. Doesn't have to be shitty or good, just completely taking the piss out of it. And I think Con Air you have to be on that with us, and we need to do Con Air, because it's just like, I think it's like Dave Chappelle's like 3rd or 4th movie. He's like in it for all of 3 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, you could literally just put microphones on headsets and sit there and watch it and just record the live reaction.
Oh, definitely.
And just sync it up with the video of the actual video.
Yeah, I watch a podcast on one of the paywall sites, and they basically riff on movies that they think are either really stupid or just gonna make them laugh.
Yeah, they have some element that makes it particular.
Exactly. Yeah.
What's the name of that podcast?
That one is what is it? Daywave Radio.
There you go.
Yeah.
Shout them out.
Shout 'em out,
You like their content, man.
Oh heck yeah, man! Daywaves. There's a running joke on Daywave right now, where it's day morning radio, and it's just stick figures of them. So like one's JJ Stoner, so it's just a stick figure of him on top of a bong, and it's just like a stick figure of like the guy they call Frozen Asian, and then like a stick figure of the main character, and they're like, this is day morning radio, we do way better than Daywave Radio. Daywave Radio is garbage, day morning radio is where it's at. They're a ripoff of us, and it's just so funny. They've been playing back and forth with each other, and it's just it's some of the funniest content.
I'd love to do something like that with us, where we get like some shitty little animation to go along with our content.
It would be so amazing.
I know a guy, man.
We need
I know a guy.
I remember you talking about wanting to do that as a running intro, and that just sounds so.
Oh man, just at least for the intro.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to get intros for everything else too, but we'll get there.
Oh man, this is our baby, man. I love me some Portal Boys. I look forward to this. This is the highlight of my week.
It really is.
Yeah. So we have.
They go to the lighthouse.
The lighthouse. Yeah, we have them running towards the lighthouse. Well, basically getting to the lighthouse as fast as possible, and then I think he's holding like a sickle, and the other one's holding like a machete, and this just crickety old man just kind of comes to the door and's like, I don't partake in the purge, or in the murder,
in the festival.
in the festival, but if you do, I just ask you make it quick.
Like, no such intentions, partner.
Yeah, he was just straight to this, and he's like, all we need to do is do A, B, and C, and we'll be out of your hair. And he's like, okay, well, you can put your beacon up and you can do everything you gotta do. I just need one of y'all guys to read my
So listen to my tale.
Yeah, and so of course, old boy's still fighting those primal urges. Was like, well, this is something I can get behind. I don't mind listening to your story. Let's do this thing. You do the science thing, I'll do the listening thing. Everything's gonna be copacetic, right? And so he dusts off, what looks to be like an actual script more than it's like it's even talked like a script, right?
Yeah.
So. He
even refers to it as a script later.
Yeah, he does. Okay, so yeah.
Or Morty does, one of the two.
Yeah, and so it's like, introduction, this person doesn't know she's hot, and he's going on with the tale, right?
Yeah, and it basically turns into a 3 weeks earlier bit, right? Where like they get to the climax and it's like fade to black. 3 weeks earlier, and you can tell it kind of like lets Morty down.
Yeah, he's just later on in the show, he clearly has an affinity for some sort of writing or some sort of storytelling, because he writes the greatest heist story ever written for Netflix, right? And then he essentially gets his enthusiasm there's a heist for his enthusiasm done by Rick.
Yeah.
So he clearly knows what he's talking about in his mind of the way a script should be written if he's already trying to get one sold or shot.
Well, he just said he's not. I mean, he tried to be nice.
He did, yeah, he did.
And then he got pressed on it for some constructive criticism, and he was like, hey, man, I'm not a big fan personally of the 3 weeks earlier bit.
Let's
and he's
get
like,
this story going.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. Take your goddamn beacon down. I let you into my house. You forced me to help you. I show you something I care about and take a big old shit on it.
Which is basically like the Jerry equivalent of purging, emotionally manipulating someone into doing this, and then immediately still not gratified with that, throwing the person out. Like they both done what they were supposed to do, respectively. He listened to his tale. He gave him some sort of constructive criticism. All the old man had to do was basically take the criticism.
Take it on the chin.
Yeah.
Yep, couldn't do it at all. Could not do it. And so he goes upstairs to try and take down the...
he's ready to take down the beacon.
Yeah, and Morty basically is like pleading his case to Rick, and this dude tries to take down the beacon, and so Morty shoves him down the stairs, and he's like, boom! No, we can cut 3 weeks earlier while you were still alive,
That
bitch.
is the best line ever. And before he pushes him down, like even Rick is having like a kind of like this like little crisis moment where he's like, we're a guest in this man's house, like we need to come on, show some respect.
Morty's like, dude, I tried to be a good guest. This dude drug it out of me, man.
Like it's too late now. And so now we have him mangled at the bottom of the stairs.
And the beacon goes off.
And the beacon does go off, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And so as the beacon's going off, it's reeling something in, right? Is what it's doing. It's reeling something.
Oh, it is a beacon. It's a landing zone for fucking the thing that Summer was sent off, and what that thing that Summer sent off turns out to be is two mech suits. That they're able to go purge it.
Like you like a lot of manga stuff and a lot of is that like kind of a Japanese culture? Like,
I don't know.
Where do these mech suits come from? Because I mean, you see them in a lot of different.
It's like
things.
Iron Man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's like the thing. You know, because like from what I know, they were doing like actual Transformer shit and like Gundams and Transformers and shit in Japan. They weren't really putting people in suits. Yeah. You know, the mech suit really seems to be. I don't know, man.
I mean, I'm not
flat out speaking outside of my neck, but I mean, like
the
place where I think that shit really first started was if the Iron Man rocking that iron suit was where that shit really kind of got its origination.
It makes sense. I mean, I'm not asking for like a definitive 100%, but just where you thought it might come from.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I know that I don't know, but I mean, if I were to fucking I would say that Iron Man's probably like
to let my ass speak.
Yeah, based on what I know, the limited knowledge that I possess, I would say it was probably old Iron Man that got that trend going.
Yeah, it just seems pretty cool. So the mech suits drop, and we have him like kind of having to convince Morty to get into it, but not too hard. Like he's like, let's, this is the time.
So Rick goes down and starts purging, and Morty's like trying not to, but people keep trying to kill him.
He's literally getting stabbed.
Like he gets to where he's having to literally defend himself, or else he's going to get hurt, and so it just fucking triggers and he goes crazy. Starts killing everybody. Once everybody's dead, he tracks down people who were hiding. Once he kills them, he just starts dropping bullets into fucking corpses, bro.
And I think he says, I think those guys were actually running.
I think those guys were actually just hiding.
Hiding, yeah, that's what it is. I think those guys were actually just hiding, Morty. It's like you've hit the point of no return, buddy. Like, what are you doing?
It's like, buddy, you're not doing the thing anymore.
Yeah,
they tracked down Arthricia, and she winds up telling me, stop, I was actually just trying to take down the people who are putting on the festival and who are manipulating shit.
Yeah.
And Rick's like, again, down to answer the call to fucking adventure, like not really having a horse in the race, not really giving a fuck about this person particularly, just like a neat experience I could go on. Let's see what happens.
The best part is that as he's talking to her, here comes Morty, and he's like,
fucking kill her! Kill that bitch!
Kill that bitch! I'm gonna kill her! She's dead! And then he's like, whoa, like, no, you don't understand. Like she's just a pawn in this, like, twisted game. And he's like, I don't fucking care. I'll kill you too, old man. It's been a long time coming.
Purge! Don't purge! You're sending me mixed messages, man.
And he's ready to take out the old man, but he literally zaps him. He's like, hey,
knocks him right out.
Knocks him right out. And he throws him on like a backpack.
That's so funny. That's exactly the term that I used in my notes, was that he's wearing Morty like a backpack, dude.
Throws him on like a
whenever they're dancing and Morty's just like kind of loosey-goosey. It's probably the best Morty's ever danced ever.
I think it really is. So they're down to now they're heading to the elites. Right?
Yeah, they're heading to the Cabal.
Yeah.
And so Rick has put Arthricia in one of the suits now. Morty's no longer in a suit. He's put Arthricia in a suit.
And did you actually find the name of the song that they come in?
It
with?
Feels good.
Yeah,
I don't know the name of that song.
It
feels good.
Yeah, it could
That's
be
all.
Fake, for all we know.
Probably is fake.
Yeah, it's
some bullshit they made up.
And so you hear this like murmuring of a song start to play, right? It feels good.
Yeah, it's like in the background.
Yeah, just kind of.
What is that music?
And here comes Arthricia. I think I saw.
Well, so Rick comes in and he's like, "Hey,
like,
I really don't have a horse in this race. Yeah. I don't know here to judge. I'm just like a dude from another planet, and apparently
you've been basically making this woman kill and purge for most of her natural born life. so she's gonna repay the favor.
It's like you guys have been doing it from a position where y'all can't get got, a lot like a socioeconomic suit of power armor, and now the playing field's been equalized. Let's let this happen organically.
Introduce her.
Introduce Equalizer.
Equalizer, yeah. And at that point, I think someone is trying to push their social weight around. Is like, you can't.
Yeah. They try to be like, nah, and it's just like immediate katana slash.
Yeah, I don't think it was like even like, you can't do this. Didn't even get to roll off the tongue until it was like puns guillotine drops.
Yeah, it was immediate. There was no time to fuck around once the started.
And then so she's like, bro, you gotta get in on this.
He's like, nah, man, it's all a little gratuitous at this point. I've kind of had my fill.
And then of course, he can't just sit there and let her have an increment of fun without him. So it's just like, yeah, I'm getting my, all right, like, yeah, I'm in.
They kill him in all these funny ways, like Rick is coming down, like he uses the blasters on his feet that he uses to slow down to melt someone's face.
He grabs the cat from the tuft of the neck and shoots a rocket up its ass.
Yeah, see, that's the type of content that I signed up for. That's exactly the type of content that I signed up for whenever I started watching Rick and Morty.
So ridiculous.
I love that. I love whenever they start blood dancing. Whenever they're literally dancing
and she's like, watch this, and she just like starts doing like, and she's like, what's this song? It's so good.
And Rick goes, it feels good.
It feels good.
That's what he responds. So that's probably the name of the song, and as far as I can tell.
Top the charts in the 90s.
And so the sun rises. Morty wakes up, and with Rick kind of giving him the shove, goes and shoots his final shot with Arthricia, who's like, I got a boyfriend.
I got a boyfriend.
He's like, dude, you're just repeating shit at this point. Like, I heard it the first time. Like, he has to stop her. It's like, just shut up.
Yeah.
You can tell. She's like,
so sweet.
Yeah.
So
once he
sweet.
takes it nice. Yeah. Once he takes it well, she's like, oh, maybe, but no.
Yeah. There's open mic nights here in Taylor. And, like, I told my buddy, I told Steven, shout out to Steven, I was like, I got this bit that I just kind of want to roll out there, even if it's just one joke, to just kind of, like, get my toes wet and just being in front of a crowd. Because I can talk in front of a camera and bulb here and blue mic and a couple buddies, but, like, a crowd of people I haven't tried it yet. I don't think I want to actually do it, but I was like, it'd start off like, who this week shot their shot, like if you get a response, it was like, they always tell you, well, the worst thing they can say is no, but they don't ever tell you about the eel.
Oh yeah, I've been told you. Yeah, that's why you don't go downtown, man. People are ugly down there on the inside. Those people who say ew, they're looking out into the world and they see disgust, and that's because they're disgusting.
Yeah, so it's just like that. I don't know if it would make any laughs, but it makes me laugh personally, and I just want that.
Listen, bro, if it serves you, go do it. That's the bottom line.
So yeah, that would be my one and only stand-up joke that I think I'm sure there's probably same thing out there where it's probably 100 times funnier, but that's my personal joke.
I mean, you could get it out. I mean, it's a funny punchline. You just got to get it delivered well. But to get back to the episode, he shot his shot, he fails miserably, and they have to basically build up a new civilization from scratch. And Rick gives them 2 rules on the way out. If you need something, you get it. If you do extra work, you get extra food. Yeah,
because one guy's like, I'm not going to do this stuff for not extra food. Like, I want extra food if I'm going to. And, like, he goes, well, I'll give you extra. He goes, I can't just make bread. I need someone to watch my kid because the society is going to be based around giving and getting food or whatever. I'm the bread maker. Like, it only makes sense, but I have kids. And then those other guys are like, I'll watch your kid, but I need extra food. And he's like, well, I can't just give you extra food. And
he's like, well, I can keep track of how much food in exchange for food.
And
it all starts happening, man. But if you need something, you get it. If you do extra work, you get extra food. Refuses to elaborate, leaves.
He basically leaves them at the start of a civilization, and he's this hairless monkey who's telling a bunch of cats how to live their life,
I love that it immediately devolves into violence, and the first rule they make is a new purge.
Yeah, it's a new purge. Yeah.
Like, don't you think we should just designate a period of time where we can get all this murderous hate and violence out of our systems? And it just cuts away.
Was it the same old man, the one where he's kind of chumming it up with him? The one.
I think so.
The same old man where he's like.
Not the general store guy, but the very first person they interacted with whenever they landed on the planet.
Yeah, he's the one that they interact with and have to like kill really hard because he's like, I'm gonna do some awful stuff today, and it's going down.
I'm like, I'm nice until the sun goes down.
I bet you are, old man.
Well, so they're flying away, and Morty feels ashamed of who he is and what he's done, and that's whenever Rick is like, don't worry, it was Purging all. Yeah. And that's that.
The candy wrapper drops, you see no Purging all. You see now without Purging all, or now with no Purging all. And then we get the fade to black screen, only to cut back in to an interdimensional cable being on in the background. And then Jerry kind of standing there watching it as Beth comes in with the big-ass bill.
Why is our phone bill $7,000? And who is Taddy Mason LLC?
And then here comes Taddy Mason on the screen, wearing a football jersey and just kind of looking like a bro and just being there for you. And if you want to talk about, the game or
it's $1.99 a minute. And I'll even call you. I'll even call you regularly. And he's like, the sounds he's making as he's trying to... it's the worm noises, bro. He's making the worm noises.
Yeah.
And he's like trying to turn off the TV. He can't find the remote. And he's like yanks the cord out of the TV. And just like, fuck it, get this off. And he like turns to look at Beth to see if he's been found out. And her only response is,
get a job, Jerry.
And it's wonderful because Jerry needs to get a job.
That's the modern equivalent of getting busted, or the equivalent of getting busted with something, sexually, on your computer, some kind of.
So you got caught with a Playboy. You know what I'm saying?
Shuffling like.
So click, click, anywhere with this.
I like all those clicks. It just means you're a man who knows what he wants.
But that's the end of the episode, man.
Dude, this was too much fun, and I definitely would recommend always do your podcast after a major dab. It just goes on.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Well, so here's my thought on dabbing, right? And you've done some so you've done some culinary stuff, so you'll get the simile. But I like to think of my brain chemistry as like a stew. Right, and like there's serotonin and dopamine, like all these different chemicals in my brain. There's happy chemicals, sad chemicals, angry chemicals, all these different things, and like with an appropriate balance of them, it all tastes good. Right? Like it's a nice chemical stew, and I'm enjoying myself. Right? Imagine that there was a seasoning for your stew called better, and just you could no matter what type of weird mix of ingredients you have in your chemical stew, it can be totally out of whack. It can be way too acidic or way too salty or way too anything, like something disproportionate in any direction. You're really just hating it. You can sprinkle some of that better in there, and it brings it back to like a more palatable, appreciable place. And the bottom line is that dabs do that for me.
So the funny thing is that there is literally a Futurama episode, right, where Bender wants to become, like, he basically wants to be on the future equivalent of one of the cooking shows.
Master Chef or Chopped or something.
Exactly. And he ends up riding the trails, running into a hobo who teaches him how to become an amazing chef. And of course, robots don't have taste buds to basically understand the flavor palettes of any creature, let alone a human. And so he gives him his secret ingredient that'll make anything taste good. And so by the end of it, everybody's loving his food, and he wins it, and then he convinces the people who doing the contest to not only give him the grand winning prize, but also a $50,000 prize for just being in Bender's presence, pretty much, right? And he's like, I also want to congratulate myself for winning the grand prize, and also the $50,000 that they're going to give me for just being on the show. And then, so of course, Farnsworth tests the liquid that was given to be the ingredient that would make everything taste better, and it's just LSD. It's literally just liquid LSD. And they're like, he's like, this isn't even a flavor enhancer. It's just potent LSD.
Everybody's just really, really enjoying themselves after they eat this, and they're associating it with the food.
It's literally just LSD and water to make people trip balls.
Man, that's fantastic. I would love for Bender to be my personal chef.
Just personal chef, just dropping eye drops of LSD and bologna sandwiches all day.
Eye drops of LSD and bologna sandwiches. Them Portal Boys be podcasting. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is Joshua.
This is Elias.
You guys are the best. It's all love. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. And if you're late to the party, it's better late than never. Peace, guys.
Monkey mouth. Monkey mouth. Monkey mouth. Monkey mouth.